Correct toes are designed to be adaptable and customizable. While correct toes come in 4 distinct sizes to accommodate a wide variety of foot sizes, our suggested modifications can be used to further optimize fit and increase comfort. If you're in between sizes, we recommend sizing up and making modifications as needed. If you're experiencing irritation or rubbing, try the following tips before making modifications to your correct toes. 1. Wear toe socks to create a barrier between your skin and the correct toes. 2. Use the shoe liner test to ensure that your footwear is wide enough to accommodate correct toes. If you're still experiencing fit or comfort issues, reference the following modifications. For best results, use a pair of sharp, fine point scissors. If the pinky toe is being pushed too far out, there are several modification options. First, start by cutting off half the pinky spacer. If you find the cut portion of the pylon is irritating, the pylon can be trimmed down to increase comfort. This modification will help if the pinky toe feels uncomfortable in the natural anatomical position or if the pinky toe is rubbing on footwear. If the irritation persists, cut off the remaining pinky spacer. Another way to do this modification is by cutting through the third pylon. This can be beneficial for individuals who have wider ends of their toes. Before making this modification, try wearing a regular sock or toe socks with your correct toes. Toe socks can be especially helpful for individuals with thin toes. If correct toes continue to slide off the toes, trim the pointed ends of the large and small pylons. This will allow the correct toes to slide further onto the toes. If you continue to have issues with your correct toes sliding off, trimming the pinky spacer in half can be helpful. This modification allows someone rehabbing a bunion or Tailor's bunion to gain additional space between their first and second toes or their fourth and fifth toes. Shim material can be added into the slot on either end of the correct toes to progressively straighten the big toe or pinky toe. A shim is any soft, flexible material that can be used to spread or widen the hollow cavity within the correct toes pylons. We recommend using an old shoe liner for shim material. To make this modification, you'll need a shoe liner or other soft material, tweezers, and a pair of scissors. Take the shoe liner and cut a small square piece out of the liner. Use a pair of tweezers to thread the shim in the correct toe slot. Please note, we recommend 3 to 4 months of progressive and consistent correct toes use before applying this modification. If correct toes feel tight around your toes, first try the next size larger. If the tightness of the product is localized to one area of the toe, this modification will allow correct toes to expand around that area. Cut a small hole in the top and/or bottom of the material, trying to keep the hole as small as possible. This modification can be made at any area of the correct toes. If your hammer toe is irritated by the material, there are 2 modification options. Start by cutting a small hole in the correct toes over your hammer toe. If additional elasticity is needed, then trim away part of the top interspace. This will create added space for the hammer toe while still applying some downward pressure. Typically, individuals with a corn either get rubbing in between their toes or on the tops of their toes. There are several modifications depending on where the irritation occurs. First, try applying moleskin to the affected area to help decrease irritation. If rubbing occurs on the top of the toe, reference the previously shown hammer toe modifications. If rubbing occurs between the toes, the pylons can be modified to decrease irritation. Using the pointed end of the scissors, poke a hole in the pylon and then remove a circle of material. This modification can be done along any of the pylons. Modifications can be made to accommodate partial or fully webbed toes. For partial webbing, trim away the portion of the pylon where it conflicts with the webbed toes. This will shorten the second pylon, allowing the product to slide further back onto the toes. For a full webbing, trim away the entire pylon. This is the only modification that is specific to the large size correct toes. All the previously shown modifications can be applied to the large size as well. If you're experiencing irritation on the ball of the foot or the base of the toes, trim away the ends of the middle pylons. If the correct toes are sitting too high up on your toes, trim away a portion of the pylon so that they can slide further onto your toes. It's common to pair modification number 2, correct toes sliding off, with this modification. Our 30-day guarantee covers modified correct toes. If you make a modification that is not a good fit, you can exchange for a new pair if you are within 30 days of purchase. Exchanges and returns must be made through your original place of purchase.